Hey there, it's Nikas. I wanted to just say a few words on this whole spiritual awakening thing. I thought once I started down this path towards this thing called spiritual awakening that it would relieve me of all of my sadness or um, grief, just the sort of fear. Um, I thought all those things would just suddenly disappear, and what I'm finding is they don't. Um, what you do get is you get relief from the story about the thoughts, about the feeling, about the grief, about the um, you no longer sort of believe the, well, this means, and what's this gonna mean, and how's it gonna, and I'm scared, and I'm none of that anymore. But I just watched a movie, How to Train Your Dragon, and I cried so hard at the end of this movie, just so hard. I mean, like screaming, sobbing, crying, and it felt so good. It felt so right. It just felt so authentic to just feel and not be afraid to feel, not be have a story about feeling, but just to feel. That's what I've kind of come to find, that this body that we're in, right? This container that contains this spirit. Um, as long as it has human form, it has experience, all kinds of experience. It's kind of like, to say that you'll never get angry again is silly. I mean, that's as silly as saying, oh, you'll never laugh again. I mean, of course you'll laugh. Things strike you as hilarious. I mean, I don't think I've ever laughed so hard in my life. But at the same time, I don't think I've ever cried so hard in my life. It's you don't get out of feeling. You feel in a deep, true, and sincere way. And it's kind of like a tidal flood, or like a big wave that comes and crashes on the seashore, and then gets sucked back out to sea. It's just it's just a wave. It's just, that's it. It has intensity. Sometimes the surf's big, and there's big waves. But the sea is simply just recedes back into itself. And the sea's unconcerned how big the wave is, and because it's all just water. It's all just experience. It's all just part of the whole. And so, I just want to sort of make this little video just to share that this true awakening thing. It doesn't get you out of feeling. It actually gets you into feeling tremendously, and it's a good thing. But what it does get you out of is the story. What does this mean? Or what are they going to think of me? Or how will this go over? Or should I make a video? Because what are they going to think about the video sort of thing? It's just none of that stuff even sort of, at all comes up. And if it does arise, it just falls over. It's like things, silly thoughts will arise, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so silly, and it just falls over. Things will arise, and it just falls over. Sometimes you get angry, and it's just like when you laugh, and then you stop laughing, and you don't think about the laughing anymore. There's no residual to the laugh, right? So same thing with anger. Anger is just sometimes it's just frustration, and but as it talks about in Alcoholics Anonymous, resentment, right? The core definition is to refeel, is to sort of replay, and to continually replay the episode of your anger in your head over and over and over. And I had, like, one time this guy says, it's kind of like watching an instant replay where each time I watch it, the play gets better and better and better for me and worse and worse and worse for the other guy. So the spiritual awakening thing really just, it allows you the release of that. That no longer is operative. You can get angry. You can get frustrated. But it just comes and then it's gone. And if you've done anything to lashed out or something at somebody, you clean up your mess right away. So anyway, I shared a video a couple weeks ago about just, it was really going through it because my best friend moved away, and it's still, it's a sad subject when my mind's there, but my mind's not often there. And actually I went and saw him at his new place, great new little place he's got up in Riverside. I'll go drive Uber on the weekends, and he works nights, so I can drop Bodhi off there and go work. And I mean, it's just working out perfectly. So, I think I just wanted to share just a little bit about, emotion comes up. This body is a feeling instrument. Things arise. But the wonderful thing about spiritual awakening is things arise, but they just don't stick around. And that's it. There's the story about whatever happened. There is no story. There's just what happened. It's the truth. Just simply the truth. No story, just truth. And if the truth needs any sort of, cleanup on aisle 5, to clean up on aisle 5 right away. It's life becomes sort of instantaneous. In AA, we have this expression, a 10th step, where you might in the evening do a review of your day. But when you're really awakened, right away if something you've done has crossed onto the other side of the street, if you will, to use that expression. Because, right, my experience, my expression, as long as it stays on this side of the street, great, have at it. But when it crosses over to somebody else's side of the street, then it has to be cleaned up, because that's infringing upon another being. And when you're truly awakened, your body lets you know immediately, absolutely immediately, that something needs to be finished. So, how to train your dragon. Amazing movie. Great, great, great animated flick. Highly recommend. Um, and if you feel like crying, cry. Cry and cry and cry and cry. If you don't.